One vritti. Vritti basically is that modification of the mind which generates knowledge. So now this vritti generates knowledge in two ways, parokshatvena and aparokshatvena. Since vritti has got directly and indirectly. What do you mean by that parokshatva? What is that? What is the parokshatva? What is the directness? Or sorry, parokshatva means indirectness. What is the indirectness because of which the knowledge is also called as paroksha jnanam? Okay. He gave you few examples. Savarga kamo yachita dashamastvamasi satyam jnanamanantam brahma or ivam sadeva somya idamagra asi, so on and so forth. These were the examples of those statements which create the paroksha jnana. Now, the question is, what is then aparokshatvam? Okay, aparokshatvam and parokshatvam needs to be defined. So basically, we have to understand when you know the part directly, what exactly is happening. What is happening? So over here, all the objects are superimposed in consciousness. Everything is superimposed on consciousness. Therefore, by the virtue that consciousness is the adhishthanam of all, now this consciousness gets conditioned by names and forms. And thus what actually is the experience is nothing but consciousness. And therefore, other than Paramatma, we are really not experiencing anything except that we are seeing Paramatma conditioned by table, chair, men, women, and all these things. And thus it becomes the attention does not go. We are not able to cognize the very substratum of all the names and forms, whereas those names and forms now assume the importance and gain reality, whereas the reality is that of the substratum, just as in case of gold and ornaments. Ornaments are names and forms, but none of those names and forms could ever be called as real if the gold was not there to support, if the gold cannot become the substratum. So thus, all the names and forms, just as all the names and forms, all the ornaments are superimposed, are an appearance in the gold, so also all the names and forms over here are an appearance in consciousness, in Chaitanya. Thus, the gold appears as if conditioned by the earring, necklace, bracelet, crown, so on and so forth. Okay. Therefore, now over here, how are we going to say it is Ghata Vishishta Chaitanyam? Yeah, Ghatopadhika Chaitanyam is there. Then Antakaranam is also there. So Antakaranopādhika Chaitanyam is also there. Vritti Upahita Chaitanyam is also there. So now we have seen 4 types of Chaitanyas. Where did we see that? Can somebody please quickly give me a reference and take me to that page where it is? 4 types of Chaitanyas. Sarita, do you have it immediately?
Yes, Swamiji, it is in page 137 what I have written. Pramana Chaitanya, Pramatri Chaitanya, let me find it.
Page 137.
Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji.
Okay. Now, how do we see this? So, with different upadhis, the Chaitanya appears different. Like with the different names and forms, the gold also appears different. Okay. Antakarana Vishishta Chaitanyam is called as Pramatri Chaitanyam. Okay. Antakarana Pratyavachinna Chaitanyam is called as Pramana Chaitanya. Now, we will have to remember the differences as what is called as what. So, Ghatadyavachinna Chaitanyam, Vishaya Chaitanyam, Antakarana Vrityabhivyakta Chaitanyam, Phala Chaitanyam. So now you have these four types of Chaitanyas. That Chaitanya, that consciousness, Vishishta, means with the adjunct of Antakaranam, is called as Pramatri Chaitanyam. Okay, Pramatri means the one who knows. What is a knower? What is a knower? So ultimately, you will have to say that this conscious being itself is the knower. But when can this conscious being called as a knower? So, what do you know? I know this is a teapot. I know it is hot. Okay. So now this knower is specific knower. He knows the teapot. He knows the cup. He knows it is hot. He knows it is cold. He knows sukha and dukkha. So now there is this pramata, the knower, and he becomes specific. So, and that specific knowledge is in a specific antakarana. Okay. So therefore, now how are we going to say? So he is the consciousness with the adjunct of antakaranam is called as pramatri chaitanyam. Then what is called as pramana chaitanyam? Because that pramata will have to use the pramata. Without the pramata using the pramanam, prama cannot take place. Anta Antakarana Vrityavachinna Chaitanyam is called as Pramana Chaitanyam. Okay. In fact, when the Pramana gets used, the Antakaranam, now that Pramata comes into the picture. First is the Pramana Buddhi. Okay. Antakarana Vrityavachinna Chaitanyam, Pramana Chaitanyam. Now, when the Antakaranam when the Chaitanyam appears as if limited by the vritti. Which vritti is this? Antakarana vritti. So now the consciousness appears as if it is limited by the Antakarana vritti. Now this is called as Pramana Chaitanyam. Ghatadyavachinna Chaitanyam is called as Vishaya Chaitanyam. So now over there, that ghata, the pot, appears as if it is limiting the consciousness and showing only the existence over there. The pot exists. That is what it happens. So Ghatadhyavachinna Chaitanyam is called as Vishaya Chaitanya. Antakarana Vritti Abhivyakta Chaitanya. Now what happens is the reflection of consciousness falls in the vritti. One is where the vritti limits the consciousness. And another thing, another phenomena that happens is that the reflection of consciousness falls in the vritti. There are two things, like the space which is limited by the water, jalavachinna akasha. And then that akasha also gets reflected in the water. Akash also gets reflected in the water. So there is a, a, what is it? Akasha pratibimba, jala pratibimbita akasha. So there is pratibimbita akash also. Now, so there are two phenomena happening at the same time. Space, which is limited by the water, because water is the adjective. Okay, and space which is reflected in the water. Two things are happening. So antakarana vritya vibhyakta chaitanyam is called as phala chaitanyam. Okay, now what happens is that when the pramana vritti goes out and covers the pot, the antakarana vritti takes the form of the pot. So now this antakarana vritti avachinna chaitanyam, which is the pramana chaitanyam, and then ghatadi avachinna chaitanyam, vishaya chaitanyam. Both of these are in one place. Okay. Now antakarana vishishta chaitanyam is pramatra chaitanyam, and antakaranasya ekadesha is the vritti. So now you see that the all the chaitanya is in one place, and therefore all the upadhis also have come into one place. So now what happens? Now the avarana bhanga takes place, and chaitanya is one. Therefore now that pot etc. gets illumined. At that moment, the pot is illumined. And therefore, that prama takes place, ghatosti. Okay? Ghatosti takes place. So this is our, this is the process through which this is a model which is made for us to understand how the pratyaksha jnanam takes place. Now, he's asking, what is that pratyaksha jnana means? Direct knowledge. Vritti creates the knowledge. That knowledge is direct knowledge as well as indirect knowledge. What do they call? Aparoksha jnanam and paroksha jnanam. Direct means aparoksha jnanam. So now knowledge by itself is nothing but chaitanya. So you will have, when you are adding a visheshana, direct knowledge. Knowledge you are not just saying. What are you saying? Direct knowledge. So now at this point, you are giving some sort of an visheshana, adjective to the knowledge. What is the adjective? Direct. Now you will have to tell, and knowledge means Brahma, Chaitanya. So if you are going to say it is Chaitanya, and you are going to say direct, now it means that you will have to say something about it. And so what is called as direct knowledge? Aparoksha jnanam. Anavrita sambit tadatmyam.
Tadatmyam.
So now that directness needs to be seen. What is the directness? What is that directness? Anavrita sambit tadatmyam. It is the oneness with the consciousness which no longer is veiled. Okay, which no longer is veiled. So anavrita samvit tadatmyam. Samvit chaitanyam is one and same word. Okay. So, and what is this anavrita samvit? It is sakshi chaitanya. Is this becoming a little difficult for you people?
No,
No,
Swamiji.
Swamiji. No, Swamiji.
Okay. So now we have this, the directness is what? Anavrita samvit tadatmyam. That is what is the directness. Okay. Now, what is it that you are calling as the anavrita samvit? Nothing else but sakshi chaitanya. The one who is illuminating even this antakaranam, etc., is the sakshi. Okay. So that sakshi chaitanyam is anavrita samvit. And now page number 215 in physical book, 249 in your PDF. Antakarana upahita chaitanyam is sakshi. Why are you giving a specific name to the consciousness called as sakshi? Because at this moment, the consciousness is there with what? With the conditioning of antakaranam. Okay. So just as the light which is coming through the glass pane, which is red in color, so it is the light only, the sunlight which is coming into your room, but it is appearing red in color. And why is it red? Because of a condition in between. There is a condition. The red glass is the condition in between. And that's why it is appearing red. Why is this? What is it about this Sakshi, the one who is not influenced by Antakaranam and body and senses, etc., but illumines, is because now this consciousness, there is what is the condition in between for it to be seen as the illuminator of Antakaranam? Antakaranam itself becomes the condition. You see, antakaranam is the condition. So, how are you going to define sakshi? Consciousness with the conditioning of antakaranam. Okay. Now, you are saying anavrita sampit, which means that this sakshi is as if presently under some sort of a cover. The sakshi is under some sort of a concealment, and which needs to go away. So anavrita sakshi, and that anavrita chaitanyam, with that anavrita sambit, with that there is going to be the tadatmyam. We will see that. But first explain anavrita sambit, which is the sakshi. How can that also be there? If the sakshi remains under some sort of a concealment, nothing will ever get illumined. Okay? Nothing will ever get illumined. Because unless and until the antakaranam is illumined, the indriyas will not get illumined. If the indriyas are not illumined, the vishayas will not get illumined. As a result, what will happen? Nothing, everything will be submerged in darkness. Jagadantya prasangaha. If you are going to say that this samvit remains under cover and anavrita samvit tadatmyam is called as directness of the knowledge, then we will have to say that if this samvit itself remains under cover, what will happen? What is the prasanga that you will lead to? Jagadantya prasangaha.
Jagadandhya Prasanga.
Got it? Why is saying Jagadantya Prasanga?
Yes, Swamiji.
And why are we even discussing all this? Because directness, which has become the adjective to knowledge, needs to be seen. Because vritti creates both the knowledges, direct and indirect. Aparoksha knowledge also and paroksha knowledge also. Tasya avritatve sati jaganandya prasannah. Tat tadatmyam nama. Acha. Then you are saying that tadatmya has to take place with what? Anavrita samvit tadatmyam. So now there is samvit. Then that samvit remained covered. Then somehow the cover got removed. And now there is the tadatmyam with this samvit. Got it? How many steps are involved in understanding that one word? There are three. So there is samvit, avrita samvit. Then that avrita samvit means avaranam is there. Avaranam means some sort of a
Covering.
concealment.
Concealment.
And that concealment is of ignorance. And then that concealment is removed. Now, how is the samvit?
Anavrita.
Anavrata.
Now you can say that anavrita samvit. Otherwise, just there was samvit, even before there was samvit, the samvit is anavrita only. But then why are you calling it anavrita? Because earlier the ajnanam was covering it. Now it is without it. So now we are giving it a name, anavrita samvit. Okay. Anavrita samvit. Then what is the next step for the directness of the knowledge according to the Siddhanti, that he definition? We have to understand tadatmyam. Tat tadatmyam. What is generally called as tadatmyam? Tad bhinnatve sati tadabhinnatvam bhinnatve sati abhinnatvam. Now over here, what will be called as samvit tadatmyam, and which samvit is this now?
Anavrita samvit.
Anavrita samvit is there. Tadatmyam has to take place with this anavrita samvit. So how are you going to define that tadatmyam with anavrita samvit? Tat tadatmyam nama. Tat tadatmyam means samvit tadatmyam nama. The tadatmyam with the samvit means what? Tad abhinnatve, tat bhinnatve sati. Though whatever is seen as one with the samvit, though it is different, yet it is also at the same time abhinnam. How is it abhinnam? Abhinna sattakatvam. Tad bhinnatve sati tadabhinna sattakatvam. Though it is not that, yet that object does not have any different existence. Do you know anything like this? Every mithya padartha will be like this actually. Every mithya padartha will be like this. Take, for example, now take two examples and understand. The first easy example you take is of gold and the ornament. Now, ornament and the gold. Gold has no name, no form. Ornament has a name and a form. In fact, ornament is name and form. Okay. So what is there is, if the ornament is destroyed, is the gold destroyed?
No.
No.
No. So Mr. X is destroyed. Does that mean Mr. Y is destroyed?
No.
No.
Why?
They're two different
They are
things.
different.
Because they are different. So also now you see that this ornament is destroyed And the gold is
Not
Not destroyed.
not destroyed. Therefore, you will have to say that this gold is different from the ornament. Just as Mr. Y is different from Mr. X. X was X. Okay, it was destroyed. But Y does not get destroyed. And why does Y not get destroyed? Because Y
Because it
is
is different.
different. Ornament is destroyed. Gold is
Not.
not
not destroyed. Therefore, now what does it prove? That gold is different from the
ornament.
Ornament.
ornament. Okay. But sir, Mr. X had a different existence from Mr. Y, or not?
Yes.
And therefore, when the existence of X comes to an end, existence of Y does not come to end. Why? Because they have two different existences over here. So now, Tadabhinna Satta. But is that the case with gold and the ornament?
No.
The existence of the ornament is not different from the existence of the gold. Because if you take away the gold, where is the ornament?
No way.
No, not at all.
And therefore, the ornament does not have its own existence. It belongs to the gold. So now what is called as tat tadatmyam, sambit tadatmyam? Tad bhinnatve sati tadabhinna sattakatvam. Okay. Do you understand that? Are you able to see that line? What are we trying to understand? Directness of knowledge. Means aparokshatvam, because the vritti creates aparoksha knowledge. If vritti creates aparoksha knowledge, we need to know what is aparokshatvam. Aparokshatvam in English will mean directness. What is that directness? So he says it is anavrita samvittaratmam. What is that directness? What is the aparokshatvam?
Anavrita
Anavrita
samvit.
samvit
Anavrita
tadatmam.
samvittaratmam. What is this anavrita samvit?
Sakshi.
Who is this anavrita samvit? Anavrita means uncovered consciousness.
Sakshi.
अंतःकरण उपहित
Sakshi
चैतन्य.
Chaitanya. Bhai, who is Sakshi Chaitanya?
अंतःकरण उपहित चैतन्य.
Antakarnopahita Chaitanya. And this Antakarnopahita Chaitanya, which is Sakshi, is forever illuminous. But then if it remains covered, then Jagaranya Prasanga will come. So what is actually remaining covered is not the Sakshi, the object remains covered. And that object, that cover gets removed. Okay, that's what it is going to culminate the meaning. Tat tadatmyam. Now tadatmyam with this Sakshi is what is called as the directness of knowledge. What is the directness of knowledge? Tadatmyam with the Sakshi
साक्षी.
Chaitanya is the directness of knowledge. When you are saying, I'm directly experiencing the room is cold, I'm directly experiencing the, the Shabda Sparsha, whatever is being heard now. This is I'm directly experiencing, I'm hungry. Because I'm hungry is not conclusion that you come to through some inference. Oh, because I started sweating, I feel a little dizzy. That means I must be hungry. Is that what you say? Oh, my
No.
mouth is getting parched, and that's why I must be thirsty. No, I am thirsty, and that's why the mouth is parched. This is how you see. isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Ah, so there is direct knowledge. But what is this directness? So here we said anavrita samvit tadatmyam. What is tadatmyam? What is tadatmyam in general?
भिन्नत्वे सति अभिन्नत्वम्.
Bhinnatve sati abhinnat. Now, what is samvit tadatmyam? That anavrita samvit tadatmyam, anavrita samvit is sakshi. So what is sakshi tadatmyam? Sakshi bhinnatve sati, that it is being different from the sakshi. Is the pot the sakshi?
No.
The pot is not. Yet now that pot should not have any different existence other than the Sakshi Chaitanyam. When this happens, it is going to be called as your directness of knowledge. Okay? So where just as this Antakaranam and the rest of the things are superimposed in the Sakshi, so also the pot also will be seen superimposed in the Sakshi. So when the pot, etc., is superimposed in the Sakshi, this superimposition in Chaitanyam, in the Sakshi Chaitanyam, is the directness of knowledge. तथा च दशमस्त्वमसि इति अत्र दशमस्य त्वं पदार्था भिन्नतया अपरोक्षत्वेन वाक्यात् दशम अपरोक्ष प्रमा एव जायते दशमोऽस्मीति न तु वाक्यात् परोक्ष ज्ञानं मनसा तत् साक्षात्कारो मनसो अनिन्द्रियत्व अन्द्रियत्वस्य उक्तत्वात् वृत्तिं प्रति उपादानत्वेन करणत्वयोगाच्च प्रमाणजन्य अपरोक्ष ज्ञानस्य एव भ्रमनिवर्तकत्वं भ्रमनिवर्तकत्वाच्च निवर्तकत्वाच्च ठीक है त्वाच्च होना चाहिए सरिता वहां पे कर लो
Yes, Swamiji. Yes, Swamiji.
some people are of the opinion that no, from the vakyam, first the paroksha jnana will take place and through the shravanam, and then after through the mind, direct knowledge will take place. That is what some of them say. But we are saying no. Through the vakyam dashamosti, paroksha jnanam takes place, and through another vakyam, dashamastvamasi, the direct knowledge takes place. It is not through mind or anything, it is through the vakyam only. You understand? It will take place. Now, look, we will go to the little thing. 215, go to the Tika part. Keyam anavrita samved, which is this samved, which is this consciousness, which is uncovered consciousness according to you. So he says, Keyam anavrita samved iti akanshaya. Anavrita samved means Sakshi Chaitanyam. Okay, what is Anavrita samved? Sakshi Chaitanyam only is called as Anavrita samved. So now look at this. What was our earlier understanding? There is Sambit. The Sambit is covered. The cover is removed, and then after it is called as Anavrita Sambit. This is not what actually it is the intention of the author over here. What he is saying that there is one Sambit, and this Sambit never remains covered. So the cover will be there on the Vishaya. That is definitely there. because that is everyone's experience. I don't know what it is. I am aware of myself, but I don't know what this is. So samvit never remains covered. What? The cover is always on Vishaya. Look at this. This is what he says. And therefore, this samvit is forever anavrita. Never. It never. So what do you mean? Is that it is always illuminous. It is always illuminous. Anavrita samvit means Swayam Prakash Chaitanya. Anavrita samvit in different words is what?
Swayam Prakasha Chaitanya.
Swayam
Swayam
Prakash.
Prakash Chaitanya. So this never remains covered. It is always in Prakasha. So Anavrita samvit Chaitanyam, what is that? And so he says, Sat. Have you understood the first explanation which I had given, that there is samvit, then there is cover, and then the cover is removed, and that's why you call? No, that prakriya is a defective prakriya. What is the right understanding? That there is samvit and it never gets covered. There is Vishaya, which gets covered and Vishaya gets uncovered. That is there. That is undebatable about it. Because that is your experience. I don't know what this is. And then when the eyes are able to meet that object, oh, it is a pot. So that's, now it is clear. So the pot is no longer under the veil of ignorance. So there is cover, but that cover remains on the Vishaya. There is no debate about it. Debate about it. I कुर्सी लगाइए स्वामी जी के लिए. दरवाजा खोल के इधर कुर्सी लगा दीजिए सामने. आइए स्वामी जी. हाँ भाई साहब कुर्सी लगाइए. आइए स्वामी जी पास में बैठिए. Anavrita Sambit Tadatmyam is called as aparokshatvam. Okay. So now there is no doubt about this, that there is cover which remains on the Vishaya. On the Vishaya. So then you are also going to question that since the Vishaya remains covered, then Vishaya Chaitanyam also will remain covered. And you are saying that Chaitanyam that does not gets covered. So we are saying no, Chaitanyam does not get covered, but over here it is, this phenomena is possible because of the upadhi, because of the condition. What is the conditioning there for that Chaitanyam? Vishaya is the condition. Okay. What is the conditioning over here? It is nothing but Antakaranam. Now, whether that Antakaranam is in a sleep mode or in a functional mode, the Samvit over here always remains illuminating it. And therefore, this Samvit never gets covered. So, what is Anavrita Samvit? Anavrita Samvit means Sakshi Chaitanyam. So, aparokshatvam is Anavrita Samvit Tadatmyam. What is Anavrita Samvit? Sakshi Chaitanyam. Question is, sir, what is this Sakshi Chaitanyam? Koyam Sakshi iti akanshayam aha antakaraneti. What is this Sakshi? Antakaranopahita Chaitanyam is called as Sakshi. And this, so the Tika made it clear. I had made a mistake earlier, okay, in giving you that explanation. Such a nityo nahi, and this is his nitya. And so how the luminosity of this Sambit always remains as its swabhava. So therefore, such a nityo nahi drashtur drashtehe viparilopo vidyate avinashitvad iti shrutehe. So this is why are you calling it as anavrita sambit the sakshi? Because this is what the Shruti is. Nahi drashtuhu. So this is the drashta, the seer. Now this seer's drishti, the vision of this seer, seeing never gets lost. Viparilopo na vidyate. Drishte viparilopo na vidyate. Why? Avinashitvat. Because that drishti itself is avinashi. Iti shrute. So the shruti says. And therefore, let us say that just as the Vishaya remains under ignorance, but you also say that I have ignorance. What do you say?
I have ignorance.
I have ignorance. So who is actually under the cover of ignorance? Vishaya or you?
Antakarna.
No.
I.
So the question over there are two options. I am not given the Antakaranam as an option.
I.
I and Vishaya both.
Anand, are you seeing this? Anand, chala gaya hai anyway. So Antakaranam is not an option. Whether you see the avaranam on Vishaya or is the avaranam on you.
On me, on I. I don't know.
You are saying so, right?
Yes.
And therefore, then you should also say that this samvit remains under the cover.
जी हाँ.
No, it never does.
Swamiji,
Why not?
actually, Swamiji, tadatmya not taking place. That is why I'm saying
It
I don't
तादात्म्य
know.
की सवाल नहीं है अभी. Don't go to तादात्म्य. We have not yet reached तादात्म्य. We are still on अनावृत संवेद.
जी. तो आवृत रहना जैसा लगता है कि I don't know. Yes.
Now the thing is, look at that. Samvit does not remain under cover because even that ignorance is also illumined. Ignorance is
Swamiji.
also
Yes. I don't know.
Yes, Swamiji.
even
Yes.
I don't know is also illumined. And
Yes.
therefore, just as the Jagrat Avastha is illumined, even the Sushupti Avastha is illumined or not.
जी हाँ.
Yes.
Yes.
Is illumined. So something is also illumined and is not is also illumined. By whom? And therefore you cannot
I.
say that this remains under cover. So that you will, by the force of this experience, you will have to say, where is the cover? What
On
is it
Vishaya.
that the ignorance is covering?
Vishay.
Samvit or the ghatadi?
घटादि.
Ghatadi padarthas remain under the cover. So therefore, and say suppose if we assume that this samvit remains under cover. So basically there is a pramanam. The Shruti says, Nahi drashtur drashte viparilopo vidyate avinashitvat. We have the Shruti as the pramanam. Now you will have to use this pramanam and use it as a kasoti, as what as a standard, as a criteria to verify your experience. Okay. Then he says, what is the logic that it cannot be said as to be avritam eva? Because tasya avritatve sati jagadantya prasangaha. If that samvit remains under the cover, then what will happen?
जगदान्ध्य
That
प्रसंग.
will be an
Jagadantya prasanga will come. And therefore, you will not be asking these questions, and you yourself will be not there to know that you are there. Jagadantya prasanga will come. So this samvit is forever, and it is the nature of this samvit to remain
Uncovered.
uncovered, anavrita. Okay. So now we have understood that anavrita samvit means sakshi chaitanya. What is sakshi chaitanyam? Antakarnopahita chaitanyam is called as sakshi chaitanyam. Now, tadatmyam with this Chaitanyam is called as the directness of the knowledge. Got it?
यस स्वामी जी.
पहली वाली प्रक्रिया छोड़ दो, वो उसमें दोष है जो मैंने बताया था, ये वाली ठीक है. This is what is called as the aparokshatvam. Now, in order to understand what is aparokshatvam, what is the other part, element of the definition? Anavrita samvet.
तादात्म्यम योग्य
What is called
विषयस्य
as tadatmyam? Tad bhinnatve sati tadabhinnatvam.
अभिन्नत्वम्.
Okay. Now he says that tadatmyam means tad bhinnatve sati tadabhinna sattakatvam. Tad bhinnatve sati tad abhinna sattakatvam. Now we understand what is tad bhinnatvam, that it is some, that ghatadi padartha is other than Sakshi Chaitanya. So the ghatadi padarthas, how is it?
Different from Sakshi Chaitanya.
Different from Sakshi Chaitanya. But the next part is a little dicey to understand, that though it is different, so the Saksha Vastu, which is different, that does not have any existence apart from Sakshi. When this happens, it is called as the directness of knowledge. What is that? Tad abhinna sattakatvam. We will have to see, but I am going to stop at this point today. And we have looked at anavrita sambhita. And why is it called as anavrita? Because of the Shruti, because of our experience, and because the logic is otherwise Jagadantha will come. Okay, so tat tadatma tat tadbhinnatve sati tadabhinna sattakatvam. We will see this when we meet tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnaat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Padarayanam Sutra Bhashkritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Vibheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyaptadehaya Dakshinam Taye Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Namah Parvati Pataya. Hara Hara Mahadev. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Swamiji. Pranams.
हरि ओम प्रणाम स्वामी जी.
Yeah. Anand, close the meeting.